Here we go, back again with another episode. Last time we were trying to test stuff and we were coming across this error which kept telling us, what are you trying to do? This table doesn't exist. So I tried to trace like where the error was coming from, and I found out that it was coming from what we did here. We kind of, let's say we kind of, all the operation we are doing is correct, but just that we mixed up, like we put the cart before the horse. So in this case, we run npm run clean and this, right? But then look at this. We This is only called after the migration happens. So meaning that by the time this migration has happened and then this is called, um, it removes the database, and then the migration just goes to waste. So I have to take this away from here and put it here instead. So it should be in the test, meaning that it has to first run before any of this happens. So now I can just replay this now. So good. Npm tests, and let's hope for the best. That rhymed. Okay, so here we go. Migration runs. So before migration runs, it first tries to delete this migration runs, which typically creates it back. As you can see, it's created now. And if I open it, we should see that, yeah, the migration stuff really worked on it. So we still get an error, but then it's a different error. So the error says that, wow. So the error says that initializes the client, invalid login. Wait a minute. Oh. I have to be candid with you. I don't know how to test this part. So remember that the moment we create a user, the code is actually sent to their email. Okay, so since the code is sent to their email, we cannot access it here because we need to pass the mem pass here for this authentication flow to work. An interesting case. And if we mark this to make it return the mem pass, this is going to fail. This is very interesting, and wow. Yeah, wow. Okay. Let me check mail trap, because I know that something was sent to mail trap. Oh no. Okay, weirdly no email was even sent. Yeah, no email was sent. Okay, I think I might have to skip this and figure that out before the next episode. So let's just get going. Okay, so we have our test according to what they show you, which is the basic stuff. So you have this basic test stuff created for you. Then we can add similar tests that use the service. In this case, we want to verify that the user can be created if the first profile image gets set and the password is encrypted. This is their own case. Our own case is quite different. So in this case, check creates a user, encrypt password, and adds avatar. So went through the process of creating a user, asserts that the avatar is set to this when no avatar is passed, and then ensure that the password is not the same. That means the password that is returned is not the same. The weird part here is that means they are probably returning back the password in this case, so which is fine. So since they are returning the password, you can check that it's not the same. So So yeah, then they try to remove password from external requests. So in that case, oh, I saw what they did. Nice one. Because normally, if you want to kind of test external request and internal request, most times you just have to pass provider as rest in the params. So if you pass the provider as rest, so the in this case the in this case, the password was returned because the provider was not passed. So if the provider is passed, it's going to assume that you are making an external request, and in that case, it's going to try to run the resolver that handles like modifying the data that is sent back to you. So that's what's happening here. In our own case, that would not work because we are using a client. So basically, we already making the request seem like it's coming from an external source, if that makes sense. So you see that it's through the clients that we're actually accessing the service before we create this. So yeah, um, okay. So yeah, what we are doing. So it's not going to work in our case. If we're using password, that could have. If we're even using password, we won't even run into this error because we'll be getting this directly here. But okay. So then we have this. Basically, if you want to remove password for this, if you want to test that passwords are removed for external request, you just pass this param into the this thing. So yeah, take similar approach for this. So they do similar thing for their messages. Currently not interested. So let me just keep moving on. So code coverage is a great way to get insight into how much our code is actually executed. So using Istanbul, we can add it easily. So if I go to Istanbul, you would see that this repository has actually been archived by the owner around December 8th, 2024. So it's now read only. which means that part of the documentation is also not complete. So in this case, I'm seeing something else. NYC, that's Istanbul. Istanbul is actually Istanbul. It's still being downloaded heavily. So if you use chess.top, you don't need to install these. Those runners already have installable libraries to provide coverage for you. Expected. So so for TypeScript, we also need to install the TypeScript this. So basically installing this and then add this and then add that to this place to get coverage. Okay, let's see. Let's try to follow this approach a bit. So I don't know how long that's going to take. And I'm not really planning on pausing. So it's done. So now that it's done, I can create a .nyc stuff file. I'm coming. Let me just pass this down. Then copy this. In the API, I'm just going to create nycrc, wait, nys or nycrc. Then I'm going to paste this inside. So yeah, I'm just going to come down here and update the script section, just following their instruction. So for the script section, just after clean, I can have coverage. What is wrong? This stuff doesn't autocomplete this time. Wait. So I can have coverage, and for the coverage, I just have nyc npm run matcha. What am I missing? Oh, this is very weird. Okay, I just noticed that text has changed in their case. So I'm saying npm run compile and then npm run coverage, where npm run coverage calls this, which in turn cleans up stuff and then do this. Isn't that weird? That's like practically just deviated from what they've been doing before. You know what though? I'm just going to. I don't really care anymore. Just run npm run coverage. I'm going to move this down. So I think that should be fine for me. Now I can run npm tests. And wait to see the outcome. Of course, we'll still see that error expected. At least we should get some coverage now, hopefully. Yeah, cool. So we get this coverage stuff now, so which is quite cool. So in this case, I have SRC. Then I have wait. I really don't. Okay, don't worry. I'm just surprised that it's able to recognize where this stuff is located. So I have like those outputs that tells me like number of stuffs that were covered, the uncovered lines. For most of the case, I think we even have a weird sort of have a proper. Though for the courier class, of course, we have um 55.5% functions. We have load number in this case. We have 20. Yeah, we have 73.91. And I guess it was simply because we have one stuff here that gave us other high number. Though there's actually a chance that Fedas itself has tested the class or stuff that this thing builds on. So, but yeah, the code coverage here is looking good, even if I've not done much, which is pretty weird. So, but with this, you can easily just see what you need to change. So, for example, I might be like, okay, let me see what is on these lines. So I can go to like maybe line 125 in courier.class. So I can open courier.class. In fact, I actually plan to test courier.class, test courier service properly. For the user service, I really don't have much to do there. In fact, that's clients.test.ts already does what I want to test for before. And here we go, because we have a lot of things we need to test here. So 125, that's this line. That's weird. So how does that have anything to do with me? So probably I don't even understand how the coverage stuff works. Interesting. So yeah, there we go. I could even just do Control Shift Enter and get this guy to kind of figure out what's wrong with our tests. Oh. That's strange. I think this is the first time I'm seeing this. And it simply just block everything. Weird. Okay, so yeah, there we go. I think aside from that, so we just set up like the test coverage. When I come back here, you see that basically they've done what they want to do, like for the teaching you how to test stuff, which of course doesn't cover a lot of it. So the assumption is that you are probably already kind of conversant with testing, so that's like the assumption. So in the next testing, we'll try to test the courier service. I don't care about testing the user service, and the reason is most time the test I need to write, except if I have important resolvers. In this case, in fact, the resolvers I have here, okay, I might need to test some things, for example, the coins, just to ensure that uh, that might be weird, but I need to check just to ensure that the coins are random for every user. So that one I just need to probably create one user, create another user, check the coins and ensure they are not the same, which can probably fail if there's a collision, but you get the gist. No, it won't fail because wait, it will fail if there's a collision. So there we go. So and in case there's any resolver here, you might want to test the service from the perspective of an endpoint. Like the thing is, once you test the service as if an external request is being sent, it triggers all these resolvers and stuff. If you test the service without the endpoints being sent and stuff, you necessarily may not trigger the hooks, especially the hooks and even the resolvers. So yeah, that's the case. So you saw a similar stuff where we in the docs where we had to pass where they had to pass the param stuff as provider set to rest, like provider set to rest, just to make it look external. And I think that is it. Let me see. There's usually something called cookbook or something. Where's their cookbooks? So yeah, there are some things that are covered here. Maybe when you get here. So that makes it for this video. Actually, in the next video we'll try to start testing our services, and there is something though I need to rectify, so I might try to rectify this in the next video, though I kind of would like to make a post on LinkedIn about it to see maybe we'll get to answer that. But yeah, see you in the next video.